Well, the first team has clinched their position into the playoffs. What will it take for each of the other teams to get into the playoffs? That's and week 12 picks. That's coming up right now on Sports Hour. What's going on? It's Jonathan Charles here. Welcome back to Sports This Hour. Here we are. We are in week 12. We only have a few weeks left in the season. We've officially 5 weeks left before the playoffs officially start. And we are technically going into week 12 right now. A few teams have already done really well and have clinched their position into the playoffs. Now, that being said, what will it take for certain of these other teams that are on the line of getting into the playoffs, or even close to even trying to get to the playoffs, to make it into the playoffs this week? We'll also talk about Week 12 predictions. Starting off of this week, we have quite a lot of teams that are right now. Currently, the Indians have insured their slot. They are insured. The Giants even if the Giants were having to win every game from now on, their best possible record with all that, with all 4 weeks remaining, would be 9-5-1, which means they can't possibly beat them. I think that's right, because we got week 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, so we have 5 weeks left in the context for this one. So if they they could go 10-5-1, but there's no chance for the Indians not to make it into the playoffs at this time. They're not necessarily insured in the playoffs. I will point out this way: if we look over it, they are not actually insured at this time. Not quite insured to win the division. With the possible Pirates losing this next week, then they will be eliminated from the playoffs. I did not count. This is 5. This is 6. This is 8, and this is 10. They're already eliminated. Over in the NBL East, it's 2, 2.5, 3.5, 4. I think I've already done all the other ones. Yeah, so all these other teams. Now, if we look at first off, let's look at the NBL North. What would it take for the Panthers to be not eliminated from the playoffs? Panthers aren't actually insured the playoffs at this point in time, but they're pretty close to being in that position. They have number 1 ranking offense and number 4 ranked defense. There is technically a couple ways they could officially not win the division if both the Knights and Dogs win at least 4 games and they lose out. So, yeah. So 4 or 5 games would have to be wins for both of these teams, and it would be very difficult. The likelihood right now is that both 3 of these teams will make the playoffs. It's not 100% sure that they won't be in a position where they will have. It's not unlikely that they will not be eliminated. This is actually 5 games. This is actually 6 games. However, The Legends cannot, in any position, win the division because at this point in time, they are 6 games behind. There's 5 weeks left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So there's 5 weeks left. The Legends cannot win the division. So the Legends can't. They're not eliminated from the playoffs yet, but they are in a position where they're not going to be winning the division. Now looking at the NBL South, the Tigers are pretty close to clinching the position. Actually, I think they might have already done that division. Now think about it. Looking at the position, they're 5.5 games behind. Yeah, so actually, the Tigers have in fact clinched the division. They cannot be eliminated from that position. Wildcard division, yeah. So the Tigers are insured. They're not insured, obviously, in the first place position, but they are insured into the playoffs. Indians are insured. They cannot be. Technically, they have not insured the division, but they have insured the position to make it into the playoffs. Panthers have not insured that because in the weird scenario, they could be eliminated from the position because they're still all 3 of these teams can still technically beat them in the playoff run. So not yet in a position. As for in the NBL East, if the Pirates lose this next week, then it becomes down to the points where the Indians will clinch at that point in time. Looking at the ABL East, this is just a division that everyone's going we're going to go crazy. Even the last place team right now can actually clinch the division. So if the Bulldogs win out, that means they'll go to 8-8. And everyone else loses out, which I don't think is likely, but if everyone else loses out and the Bulldogs win out, there's technically a possibility. It's so low that the Bulldogs still make the playoffs. Now, however, if Bulldogs lose this next week, then they probably are going to be out of the playoffs. They cannot make it into the playoffs at this time. They're also over here on the block. They're in a position that's going to be very difficult to actually clinch the division. Anyone can still clinch the division. Right now, the Bulldogs are the only team that's not insured in this. And even then, they are not going to be eliminated from the playoffs for probably a few more weeks because the team in the playoffs right now is 5-1. So they're only, give or take, a game and a half, 2 games and a half behind being in the playoffs at that position at a time. So they're pretty close. As for the ABL North, the Union Cats and the Elephants are tied. I somehow don't think that's actually what they're scored. Give me a second. I don't know if that's the score here. I just want to verify that the Athens, or Athen, not Athens. Yeah, they do. Okay. And I just closed the wrong thing. Great job. My bad. Any of these teams can still actually make the playoffs, believe it or not. So even if Lightning, if we look at the Lightning position, they have to win every game from now on to even get a chance to get into the playoffs, pretty much. They're not eliminated from the playoffs. They will be eliminated for a few more weeks, but which is why they are currently not in the position like the Dolphins and Bobcats. They're not on the block. Even losing this week will not eliminate them. They're only going to be 4 games behind if they win this week. If they lose, they could move to on the block, and they could also be eliminated depending on how everything else works out. Otters, they have not yet clinched, but they're pretty close to doing it. The Otters are in a position where they're 10-1, fourth. They are super close to actually being clinched in the division, but it's still kind of anyone's game. Any of these teams could still technically do it, and this is not exactly how it works. Let me see. We got 3, 3, and 4. Yeah. And then we got 10 games behind. So right now, the Warriors are eliminated. They cannot possibly make the playoffs, and they actually have two of the worst rankings at this point in time. I don't even know what we said about them before. Looking at their games, we'll take a look at everyone's positions. What I thought was going to happen at the beginning of the season in a second here. Huskies. Yeah, so that is pretty close to being locked. Warriors are eliminated. There's just no chance they can make it in there. Huskies. They have not yet clinched. They're super close. The Chargers and Superman are both 3.5 games behind. And honestly, it looks like to me the Huskies are going to clinch this next week. I think both these games are going to be pretty tough to actually work out. We'll talk about those games in a little bit here. Beagles are 6 and Stars are 11 games behind. So they're 11 games behind. So Beagles can still make the playoffs at this current time. I think they're actually not in the playoffs at the current time. I think they're like 11th. Yeah, they're like 11th. But they are like right on the block of anyone gets. As for the Stars, they're eliminated. They can't do it. They're not going to be eliminated, though, because of the context of where everyone is. They're pretty close to position. So I think, honestly, with one more win this week, Huskies will be in. It depends on who they play. As for this crazy match, the Colts have gone pretty close to clinching. They won't clinch this week. They may not clinch next week. They probably might clinch in 3 weeks. So unfortunately, it's going to take 2 more weeks before we decide if anything happens here. As for it, UNC is eliminated from the playoffs, and the Dolphins and Bobcats are both, actually I think both of them are eliminated. Not yet. They're not quite eliminated yet. They're pretty close. Losing this week for the Dolphins or the Bobcats will put them out of the reach. That means they're on the block right now. They're not out of the playoffs necessarily, but they're probably not going to be in the playoffs if they don't win. They're going to have to win out at this point. They're going to have to go 8-8, and 8-8 is not going to do well for them because that means they can't do better than the fifth seed pretty much. And honestly, that's not going to be an easy one to do. I mean, all 4 of these teams have a pretty good record. Even the Packers have a pretty good record. Packers are the only team that haven't made the playoffs ever, so this is going to be interesting for this week. Let's talk about what would happen. I want to talk about each of the teams going into it. What did I think before? Starting off, we had the Panthers. I originally thought the Legends were going to be number 1, Panthers were going to be number 2, Knights, Dogs, and Cardinals. Well, if we look back at the actual position, I'm not too far off. Well, actually, I'm pretty far off. Legends right now are on the verge of being eliminated from the playoffs. They're not eliminated yet. They're probably not going to be eliminated next week, but they'll probably be eliminated a week after that. As for this, I pretty much got all 3 of these right in that order. These guys are actually way down here. So it's going to be tough to see what's going to happen in that one. Right now, I will say I think it did not go too wrong, but the problem is Legends are going to have to win out pretty much in order to even clinch the division. As of right now, Legends can't even I don't think the Legends can even how do I say this? I don't think the Legends can actually win or clinch the division because of the Conics. Looking here, the Legends have played the Panthers only once, but the Panthers did win that game, which means they have to win out the rest of their games. That's the first thing that has to happen. And the second thing has to happen is they would have to beat the Panthers in the second game. So there's still technically a possibility that but it requires them to win out for one thing. They have to beat everyone they play, which is not unforeseeable. I mean, the Hawks are not good. The Dogs are pretty good dogs. We got Saints. I mean, two of these games are pretty tough, and two of these games are going to be not too tough. I think the Legends Saints, but I don't think the Legends are going to be able to beat the Panthers off the Saints. I'm going to say right now, I do not think there's a good chance. There's technically a possibility the Legends do it, but even with a possibility, they'd have to go 10-7, and the Panthers would have to lose every game. So with the Panthers win or a Legends a loss, that would eliminate them from clinching division. Doesn't eliminate them from the playoffs, but considering they're probably like 11th, it's not looking good for them. Second one, we got this crazy division. I had the Browns going first, the Bulldogs going second, which they're not. The Angels going third, they're so I don't think this is going to be exactly right, but I think it's going to be pretty close. There's no real way to say anyone's going to be able to keep the division over. I think the only thing is the Browns winning this week with the Bulldogs loss will put Bulldogs out of reach, and I already put the Bulldogs not making it to the thing anyways. Okay. Moving on to the NBC West. We got the Pirates, the Kings, the Bears, the Dragons, and the Indians. Indians, I totally got this wrong. I had the Indians last. Guess where they are? They're first, yeah. And they're also almost ensured to be first. I had the Pirates first, I had the Dragons next, Bears and the Kings. Okay, I had the Bears right at least. Also, the Kings kind of close. The problem is, I already know it's unlikely, it's impossible for the Indians not to make a playoff, so they've already gone way above this thing. And this is going to be a week where I pretty much decided I absolutely got this wrong. Look at the NBC South. Tigers have clinched. Did I pick the Tigers to win? I did not know. I had put the Tigers last. All right, well, obviously I threw that one out, but when I had it going 2-14, well, how many games have actually gone right? 1, 2, 3. I've gotten, I think, 4 games correct so far. And I put them 2-2. I did terrible with this thing. What we see about the Foxes? Foxes are kind of low. The Ravens are low. Okay. I'm completely messed up this division as well. So clearly, I'm not good at predicting divisions. Let's talk about Let's talk about the other side. The ABL, maybe the AFC. It's not actually what it is. It's ABC, American Basketball Conference. On this side, what do we say? What did I say? I said Leland Cats, Jets, Werewolves, Ethan, Lightning. Okay, well, I do have for sure the Lightning right. I do not have the Werewolves right. I had the Ethan kind of in the right position because I had them missing the playoffs right now. They are in the playoffs right now, so me and my Cats at least had them on top. And the Jets, I kind of have in a position where they're kind of the middle. I haven't messed this one up so much, but it's not exactly looking great right now. I'm going to say right now it's going to be difficult to go for that one. Let's take a look at the AB. I can't believe I didn't change this before. Alright, moving back. The stars. The Superman, the Huskies. First off, I can already tell you right now, I absolutely messed this division up as well. We got. First off, I previously said the Huskies to be 4th, Chargers to be 5th, Stars to be 3rd, the Eagles to be 5th. So I think that I at least got the Huskies wrong. I got the Superman and Chargers pretty much in the right positions. No, I don't. I don't have them ready. I kind of messed this division up too. The only division I think I have even close to even possibly is the Superman, because they're still in position in that position. But honestly, I kind of messed this division up as well. I don't think I'm doing very well. The ABL East, which is the Warriors League. Okay. I totally messed this up division. I had the Warriors make the playoffs, Lynx making the playoffs. Anyone want to tell me the Warriors are? Not making the playoffs. At least I have these three somewhat right. Packers are kind of in a position where they could make it. The first time they would have ever made it. Yeah, this is going to be interesting. And looking at the NBL, and if you see, that's not what it's called. Whatever. I have it's Colts, Tex, Dolphins, Bobcats, UNC. I think I have UNC right? No, I have UNC going 2nd. I have Colts going last. I messed this division up too. So clearly, we all know what I'm terrible at is predicting the future. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the what's going on in week 12. Let me go and copy. Week 12. Alright, week 12. I am currently 1st. And honestly, there's a very good chance I'll stay 1st for a long time. Runner is currently the last. But honestly, not by much. To be honest, these guys are all pretty close to each other. They're all within like 10 games to each other. So, okay, well, Lily is a little bit above Runner in that regard. But not too bad right now. I am way ahead of Lily at this point in time. I think honestly, there's only 5 weeks left. It means I'll get 100 more points, right? Yeah. So I could get up to 275, and that would put me, if my best possible record at this point, if I went 275. And 320, I think it is. I have an 85%, so I have the best possible position. Doesn't mean anyone can't beat me. They just have to do really well on this. And everyone's already done their predictions. It is time. What's a 3 mean? I don't know what it means. What is it? Runner with Jets, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's talk about each game going into this. First off, the game of the week is gonna be it's gonna be weird. The game of the week right now is gonna have to be the Lynx and Leland Cats. And honestly, that is the only game that even works, because it's only one that's even close. And honestly, Chargers and Indians are really close, but we have already decided for right. They did say that one. Correct. Okay. So Lynx and Leland Cats. I think this is actually the second time they've been selected. When was the last time the Lynx and Leland Cats played? Oh, they don't play twice. I think the Lynx have had quite a few really close games, but they are in a position. Honestly, this is probably it. I could see the Chargers and Colts game be really close as well, but then for right now, it is going to be the Lynx and Leland Cats. And honestly, this could easily be a matchup that will happen in the playoffs at some point. Are they? I swear, I thought they were in the same division for some reason. I was wrong. Whatever. Let's talk about the first game. We got the 5-6 Beagles versus the 0-11 Warriors. I honestly feel like there's just no physical possibility that the Beagles will lose this week. At some points, the Warriors have got to win, but it might not happen until next season. All right, we got this Tex and Stars. Again, another one of those things. Tex have had some bad weeks. Not just the 1 week they actually do terribly, but going into this week, we gotta say that the Tex are going to win this week. If the Stars somehow come and win that game, great for them. Looking at the Indians and Falcons, I think it's pretty fair the Indians will probably still win this week. I don't have much of a chance. If we're going to go anywhere differently, no, I don't want that. Saints and Bears, Stars, Saints, you're going to have to win this week. There's no chance. I don't think the Bears are going to win this. Bears are going to have enough to win this week. Looking at the Lightning and the Otters are going to clinch their playoff position by beating the Lightning. Probably going to knock the Lightning out. Angels and Pirates, this is going to be a tough one for me. Angels are favored by 4, and I think they're going to stay in that position. They're going to win, but they're going to win up there, keeping the Pirates from making it so that the other team will actually clinch. Ravens and Cardinals are facing off each other. I'm going to give the Cardinals the win here. I think the Cardinals are just going to do a little bit better. And then we got ourselves the Knights and Giants. I'm going to give the Knights the win here. I skipped the Hawks and the Legends. You're going to say fair enough. The Hawks are doing much better than the Legends. I'm going to go with the Hawks winning this game. Tigers and Panthers, a tough one. Easily could have been the game of the week for them. I'm giving the Panthers the win. They're currently favored. I think they're going to have a better chance of winning this game. We got Jets and UNC. UNC are already eliminated for the playoffs. Jets are going to have a lot to fight for. I think the Jets win this game. We got the Knights and the Bulldogs. Bulldogs are favored. Sorry, Kings. Kings are. Both these teams are fighting for a position to make it, to keep it their playoff hopes alive. It's going to be the Bulldogs that are going to be able to do that this week. Dragons and Foxes is going to be the Dragons that win this week. We got the Dogs and the Browns. It's going to be super tough, but the Dogs are going to surprise the Browns and win this week. Chargers and the Colts at 4 o'clock. It's so tough. It's so tough. I'm going to go with the Chargers winning this game, though. I think the Chargers are going to do slightly better than the Colts. It's going to be an interesting game, though. Lynx and Leland Cats, we will say it's going to be super tough. I'm going to say I like the Lynx to win this game. As for the Supermen and the Bobcats, no. It's definitely going to be the Supermen. Supermen are up by 72 points. Almost double the actual possible score position. Supermen and the Bobcats. Supermen are going to be able to win that week as well. Anything the Packers, I like to say the Packers will win this week. It's going to be a very close game, though. As for the Lions, it's super close. I'm going to give the Lions the win here. I think the Lions are going to do slow there. And Huskies and Dolphins. Huskies are going to keep their undefeated streak alive, and they're going to win. That is my predictions for this week. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. And next week, we'll talk more about the playoffs and what's going to mean, what's going to happen next, what happens in the next couple weeks. See you guys next video.